Hello, thank you so much for watching this video and spending some time with me today. My name is Celia Alves, and today I will be showing how we can get query connections, Power Query connections to work when we open the file on another device. For example, when we have files shared through Dropbox or any other type of cloud service or sharing file services. How can we get the file to work on another computer? Because as you know, when we are building the queries, the file path is hard-coded there. So we need to instruct Excel and Power Query about, let them know where are the files, what are the actual paths to the files in that situation. Okay, I will be using a file that I built during the previous two videos. I will put the link below in the video notes so that you can see, watch how they were built. Of course, if you like this kind of tips, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you are notified every time a new video is released. Okay, so let's start. Background of the situation. I have this folder called video in my Dropbox, and inside that folder I have a file called product details, and I have a file called get data, and I have a subfolder called monthly sale reports where I have different files. In the previous videos I built these three queries. The first one connects to the first file and brings in this list of product codes. The second one goes into the folder, reads what is in there, and looks at what is in there, and brings the data only from the most recent file and produces this result in this case. Associated to this query are all these other queries that Power Query creates automatically, to like a cheat sheet where it tells itself what he needs to do using a sample query, connecting to one of the files, using one of the files in that folder as a sample, and learning what I want it to do with those files. So we will have to look at these queries as well. And this third query is just a combination of these first B1 and B2, these first two queries. Okay, so how can we make this work? One way of doing that is the following. Let's call this sheet settings. Let's create something here. Let's put connection to type and the path. I will put here the main folder, which in this case is the folder that I called video. So it's a folder. And then we have to connect to the file, which will be the first one, this file here. And we can also put the extension XLXSX right away so that we don't have to write it after. And, oh, it's not the correct folder. This is a file, and then we have the subfolder called monthly sales report. Copying from here, it's a folder, and what we need now is the path to each one of them. I'm going to use a formula called cell that has different options. One of them is the file name. I'll choose that option, and I say I want the file name for this cell here. Okay, what it gives me is this string of all the path until the folder, and then the file name, and then the sheet name. I only want this up to where the square bracket is. I want everything to the left of that. Okay, so first let's find the square bracket. Okay, let's go and say find what? Find the square bracket. And where? In the text produced by the previous form that we just built. Okay, start number is optional, it will be the first character. Okay, so it tells me it's the 30th character. Okay, so now I want, okay, give me the left part of the string within the text produced by this very same formula here. So I copy and paste here. Even the text is this one, the character number is given by the find formula. But I don't want to include the square bracket, so I need to say at the end subtract 1, because otherwise it will include the position of the square bracket. Okay, and that's it. That's what we want. If we go here, that's exactly the path that I have there. Okay, so now what is the path to that file? It is exactly the path of the main folder concatenated with the name of the file. So let's just fix here, and now if I drag this down, I will get exactly what I want for this folder. Okay, so now let's transform this into a table. Control T, my table has headers. And we will now create a query, one that produces this piece of this string here, and another one that produces this other string. Okay, so let's start with this one. We go to data, from table/range, and from this table we say I only want the one for the file product details. It's the first one where I want to go, and I only want this string here. So click the column and then remove all the columns, and now click here and right click the mouse and choose drill down, and now we have a string, text. It's a text string. So we go close and load to. We don't need to create to bring the data. We can just create a connection because we already have the string there. Say okay. Here let's go rename this. I will call it query A1. So because Power Query tends to refresh connections by alphabetical order, I'm using a system to make sure the queries are refreshed in the correct way. So this one would be A1 and then product details. And it's best that you don't use spaces in the query names, so that the next step where we are going to use these names works correctly. So now we can just duplicate, right click and go down to duplicate. You cannot see, it's outside my recording area, but go to duplicate. And the only thing we need to do is when we were filtering, we can come here to this gear icon. In here, I want the monthly sales report row. Okay, so now in the end, the result is what we need. And we can give it this a name A2, and this would be monthly sales reports. Okay, home, close and load. So we have these two names. Okay, let's go here, just get that name, just go rename and then copy, Control C. So what we need to do now is to go to the query that needed that path, which was this one, B1. We need to go there and say, let's edit and view tab, advanced editor, and in here we select all this string that is in between quotes and go and Control V replace with this instruction. Okay, and replace it with the query name that produces that string. Okay, done. And now we get this error. This is due to the different privacy levels associated to the file and to your machine. And in fact, I own this tip to Luís Gustavo Nascimento Serra, YouTube channel Mais Que Planilhas. And so what we need to do is we need here on the Power Query Editor, we go File, Options and Settings, and then Query Options. And then here in the privacy for the current workbook, we say ignore the privacy levels and potentially improve performance. We choose that one. Say OK. Okay, so it is now working. It's not giving us an error. Let's see. So now we need to do a similar thing with the second query that uses this path somewhere. And right click and choose rename just to copy, Control C, escape. So let's go here. Right click, edit, view, editor, advanced editor. And here where the path string is, again, we just need to replace all these by the query name that produces that same string. Done. Home. It won't give us the error now because we already changed the privacy setting, the privacy level. So it's okay. And now remember, this is reading through a folder. So we have these other queries that Power Query creates automatically that are also referring to that folder, some of these queries. So we can check every one of those. You can go to the View Advanced Editor. This one says you cannot look at it because this is always updated from the transform sample file from monthly sale reports. So, okay, we don't need to do anything here. Close. Let's see, let's check this one. Edit. View. Advanced Editor. This is referring to the sample file parameter 1, which is another query. Okay, so we don't need to do anything here, just cancel, close. So it was referring to this other one here. Okay, let's go so we don't forget anyone. Let's open this one. View, Advanced Editor. So here we need to put the query that produces this string, which is the second one, is this one. Okay, Control V, done. And then home, close and load. And finally, let's check this one here. This is referring to the sample file, so we won't need to do anything here, but let's check. It's referring to the sample file and doing something with it, so we don't need to change anything here. Okay, so now this should be ready to work. Let's test this in this computer, this very same file. Let's save it, and then let's see if it works if the file is opened somewhere else. So I have some extra data here for the month of May. Let's see what is inside. Just 4 products sold: A1, B2, C3, F4, 10, 20, 30, 40. So it's easy for us to check. Okay, it's closed. Let's copy this file, Control C, and add this file to the monthly sale reports, Control V. Okay, so now let's refresh everything here, and we, on the month sales that previously we had A1, A2, A3 with sales on the previous month, let's refresh everything and see if everything works correctly or not. So we click the refresh all button, and there we have it. A1, A2, B2, C3, 10, 20, 30, and then down below F4, 40 units. Okay, so it's working. Now what I'll do is I'll save the file and close the file, and now I go here to my Dropbox where it says video, and I'll say share, and I'm going to share it with my other account. Can edit, okay, share, and I'm going to interrupt the video here for a little bit while I enter on my other session, and I will join you there to test this. The path here was see user Celia Dropbox video. So let's close this. I'll see you soon. Okay, so let's test this. Let's open get data. The queries are not set up to refresh automatically when opening the file, so let's go and refresh all. We can go here to the data tab, queries and connections, and observe what's going on in there. So here we are. We got the same error as before. So what it means is that we need to switch that privacy setting in Power Query. The first time we open the file on a new location, we need to do that, and then from then on it will work. So we have this error 3 times because we replaced that string 3 times in the queries. So let's just open one of these queries, and let's go to File, Options and Settings, Query Options, and at the current workbook level, privacy, let's go and choose this option. Okay. Close and load, and now go and refresh all again. Okay, so no errors, and the month sales 10, 20, 30. Let's go and add extra data. We have a separate file here for June. This has B1, B2, B3, B4 products, product codes with 10, 20, 30, 40 quantities. Let's copy this file, Control C, and go to the monthly sale reports folder, Control V. So this will be the most recent file there, and let's see if everything updates correctly. Data, refresh all. And here we are, B1, B2, B3, B4, 10, 20, 30, 40. The settings sheet has now the current file paths and folder paths displaying for the location where this file was opened. So this is working. Of course, it's a good idea to protect this sheet here. We can come here and protect the sheet and say you cannot do anything here, and maybe put a password in there if you'd like, to avoid users to change anything in here. And it's working. I hope you liked this solution. I know there are other options. If you ever tried anything different that you would like to share, I would love to hear from you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to receive a notification every time a new video is released with tips like the one that you just watched. Bye now.